Our first speaker is Ruth Nettle, Agriculture Domain Leader with the Faculty of Ag Sciences at the University of Melbourne. Please make her welcome.
Thanks very much, Nikolai. Hi everybody, it's great to be here. I suppose I lead a research and teaching group at the University of Melbourne in rural innovation. But one of my key areas in research is changes to farming, particularly the social organisation of farming. And so I think that's the context in which I'm here today. It's quite challenging to think about this topic when we think about, I suppose, what's happened over the last few months with and years around drought, bushfires and the emerging challenges now, and what that means for the people. And it's great that ABARES has looked at, yes, this is an economic forum, but now we're talking about the people and the future of people in our future of farming. So for many people, and I did just talk to Jock there about some responses around people, whether people had to be let go, whether people, things had been changed and adapted in the role of jobs, or what was going on through the drought. And this is part of the reality, part of the story, and the challenge for this 2030 $100 billion goal. So the Agri-Futures report reminded us that the future is going to be about a bumpy ride, and we need to really think about what's the bumpy ride when it comes to the people side. So I just wanted to go through, I suppose from my perspective, some of the key current trends and issues and challenges we might face, and then look to the future about what are the areas that agriculture really might need to concentrate on. So some current challenges and realities around the people side in agriculture. The recent reports talk about the total number of people working on farms pretty stagnant, a little bit of a jump up. And there's a lot of variability around that, or a lot of detail within that figure. So we know that there's variable demand by region, by type of enterprise, and season. And we know that there's a change in what's happening with the workforce around the use of contractors, increased services, increased role of casuals and temporary workers. And so there's a lot of dynamics here, particularly around the role of family members in the farm. So when we look at that stagnant, or sort of the total number of people working, part of that is a 25,000 person increase in employees on farm, and a decline in some of the numbers of family labour or family workforce in regards to increased farm size. So this is part of this underlying dynamic around what's going on with people and current farming systems and the changes there. And so we need to really think a lot about how we distinguish skill and labour shortages as well. Another part of the story is that we hear a lot about is the new and exciting jobs that are coming down the pipeline with the promise of the digital revolution. The recent KPMG report, for instance, considered that 1 in 3 new roles in agriculture will be digitally or digital agriculture related. Yet there's a lot of concern in rural communities and on farm about what are the nature of those jobs and will they all be in the cities? And so this is one of the dynamics that we have to face around the people side. And the last trend here I'd note is the global skills shortage. Now this is across a lot of different sectors of the economy in Australia and around the world. And so I just used the quote there around skilled trade workers by the OECD that mentioned this is a key shortage. The thing is, I've spoken a lot and talked to lots of people in different countries and have visited a lot of those countries in Canada, in Europe, New Zealand, and in South America, where this is a common trend So it's not only the agricultural sector, but also other sectors that are facing this sort of dynamic or issue. So then this is something about our current reality, but we're asked to talk about the future. So I just nominate 4 areas that I think ag for this 2030 goal needs to really strongly focus and invest in. So I link strongly people to innovation. So I think it was Hugh in the plenary this morning that said we have to stop thinking about consumers as the problem, and it's the same I think for our farm people and the services and workers on farm. We need to think really proactively about attracting and retaining them. So in terms of jobs and careers, we can see new types of jobs and careers. There's going to be specialisation in particular areas, the demand for flexibility, but here the workforce contributes to flexibility and also is part of the adaptive response of farms. There's going to be new services and new businesses, and it looks like agriculture wants them to be in rural communities. There's going to be a lot around leading and managing teams, and the role of human resource management and those sort of skills and capabilities across agriculture as a strong part of the future. The second area I say is about the best places to work, the ultimate attractor. I might be, perhaps as a researcher, a little bit too focused on looking at all those reports and competitions on the best places to work. I don't know if you've read them, the Business Review Weekly sort of runs them. And I always look who the recent winner is and what are they doing around creating best places to work. I'm wanting to see, or we're wanting to see, needing to see agriculture up there and the different sectors up there as the best places to work, as the ultimate attractor. The third area I put is the modern learner. So I'm actually teaching right now at the University of Melbourne. Most of my subjects are both online and also on campus. But the modern learner it's about, for agriculture, there's going to be more people with degrees that we really want to draw on to help in the challenges. Learning's going to be on the job and online. It's going to be a really key part of the employer's role around development of employees. And the fourth area, the capabilities for making tech pay. I think sometimes where perhaps agriculture's standing back and saying, I wonder what's going to happen with the tech, or we need training and why isn't it happening, or we're going to have people-less farms. But we've got to think about being proactive around collaboratively working on these capabilities that's going to make this sing for agriculture. So it's about being on the front foot. So what can support this transition? And there's been a lot of talk today about some policies. I suppose just some comments I would make that I think I really do put the people side in the innovation bucket. So that means the R&D that's supporting farms and supply chains is also about the people aspect. It is an innovation question. So I think more support around the redesign of farm systems, better workplace is going to be important. Regional collaboration, perhaps if I replace regional with community, that there's a lot of transferable skills in communities and regions that agriculture needs. And so these community type responses to build the future workforce, I think, are going to become more important. And what I mean about integrated workforce strategies and policy, that's just about that really workforce cuts across, as I said, innovation policy, education policy, jobs and small business, agriculture. It's part of a complex agenda, and I think more can be done in that area.